We're here for the meeting of the Town of Berlin Housing Board Review on June 10th at 4:30 p.m. For the record, I'm Joseph Moore, and I am a member of the board. And if you all want to identify yourselves as well.
Matthew Storr.
Norman Bunting.
And for the record, we are the chairs of the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Planning Commission, and the Historic District Commission. And this is our first meeting of the Housing Board of Review, and to my knowledge, first meeting of the Housing Board of Review that I remember happening. But we're here, and for the applicant, Mr. Hirsch, filed an appeal for an application from the determination of the planning staff. And Mr. Hirsch, there is a staff report which contains the previous contacts between you and the town, which are, of course, in there, and they're varied. Are you prepared to have us go ahead today?
Yes, yeah. I'd like to speak, talk about it, see what.
All right, then the first thing I'll do, I guess, is call the meeting to order and ask Janita Lewis Watson, who is the zoning official that is involved in code enforcement. Janita, if you will stand and raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly declare and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you give before this board is your truth.
I do.
Okay. Would you identify yourself for the record?
Sure. Janita Lewis Watson, code enforcement and zoning official for the town of Berlin.
Okay. And as I understand it, you are the author of the staff report. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, I will just say to you, rather than us asking any questions to begin with, if you want to summarize the staff report to advise for the record why we are here at this meeting.
Okay. We're here at this meeting because the property known as 103 Link Lane is currently has lost its non-conforming residential use. The use, according to the code for the town of Berlin, the use is lost once either the property changes hands or sits vacant for 1 year or more, and or changes hands and is still vacant. It automatically loses its non-conforming use. I'm here today because this property lost its non-conforming use in the year of 2025. I apologize. 2015, I apologize. The original owner was Elizabeth Blink, and there was a massive kerosene oil leak at the property where MDE had deemed the property known as 111 Maple Avenue as unlivable. During that time frame, many moving parts happened. Several inspections were done by MDE and MDIA. MDIA is the Middle Department Inspection Agency for the town. And the MDE at the time of 2025 had deemed it unlivable, and they later came back a couple years later and retested the soil and said it was all clear. However, by that time, 2018, I'm sorry, let me go.
Take your time. That's okay.
Because I don't want to give out the wrong dates. So in 2022, Ida Link, who had possessed the property from her mother in 1996, she actually sold the property in 2022 to Mr. Hirsch's company, Hirsch Enterprises LLC. It was at that time the property had already been deemed as non-conforming, lost. It had lost the non-conforming use.
Right.
On different occasions, the town informed the new current owner, Hirsch Enterprises, that of several violations. And one was that the property was no longer able to be used as it was once it was grandfathered in because it had lost its grandfather non-conforming use. It also had failed multiple MDIA inspections, and notices were sent to the owner and he did not repair. The one house that is repaired that I identify as 101 Link Lane has been remodeled completely. There were no permits pulled, so we don't know if it's safe and sound, and I've observed it as being a short-term rental. And I think that's all I have for my summary.
Okay. And so there is no zoning certificate for 103
No,
Link Lane.
No.
And for the record, as I understand it, the property 101 Maple Avenue is at the head of Link Lane.
111 Maple,
What'd I say?
101.
No, 111 Maple. And that's the building that I see that is boarded up.
Correct.
And then behind that, is that 101 Link Lane?
Yes.
And then behind that, there is another building, which is 103 Link Lane.
Yes, sir.
And when I was at the property, and I didn't trespass, Mr. Hirsch, I promise you that, a young man was on the property.
DJ,
He let me walk on the property, but there's also a trailer, an RV trailer that is stored on the property, correct?
Correct.
Does that have a permit for being there?
No, we don't require that. The
Okay.
town code says that you can store an RV on the property as long as it's in the rear of the property
Okay.
or in an accessory structure.
But as I understand it, it can only be stored on the property. It cannot be occupied.
Correct.
Unless it has, a zoning certificate saying that
Well,
somebody
it's
can
absolutely
occupy.
no living in an RV in the town limits.
Right. Okay. All right. Any board members have any questions of Janita? Mr. Hurst, do you have any questions of her?
not at this point, no.
All right, sir. Well, it's your application to the board, which you filed, and you said you request a reissuance of non-conforming residence use at 103 Link Lane. But if you, whatever you want to tell the board, you can do so.
I bought the property in 2022. I brought the HUD with me from a lady named Sherry Deans. I hope I said that right. I don't even know if she's from Old Father Group. And before we bought it, we actually had the town of Berlin meet us out there. They sent a representative out there because I wasn't interested in buying it unless I could use the houses. The gentleman, we walked through 111 Maple Avenue and we walked through 101 Lake Lane. At the time, Brandon and Angel, I forget their last name. Anyway, we're living in 103, which is the property in the rear. So we were unable to walk through that one. So I asked him if I could tear them down and rebuild them. He said no. He said if I did, I could only build one house there. I said, can I fix them as they sit? And he told me yes. He said, you cannot change the structure. They has to stay as is. And he told me about the kerosene leak. We had the fire department. We had to get hold of the fire department. And we made sure that everything was released as far as being able to use 111 Maple Avenue. Once we had everything cleared with the town and we had everything cleared with the fire department, we could use the house. I put a deposit down on the house and then we settled, like in January, February, March of 2022. My original plan was to repair 103 first, but it took us about 18 months to remove the tenants that were there. And I ended up having to pay them to leave. So we finally got them out And in the meantime, I finished 101. I never changed the structure. It's the exact footprint as it is when I bought it. I put a new roof on 111 Maple Avenue last year. I did board up all the windows there, boarded up just because the people that lived there previously and some of their friends probably weren't the best, and I didn't want anyone breaking in and squatting again. I can remove the boards off the windows if you want, but it's just for my protection, not the house.
And I apologize, Mr. Hirsch. I forgot to swear you in.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you'll raise your
Yeah.
right hand, you do solemnly declare and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're giving the board is true.
Yes, sir.
And that goes for the
That
testimony.
includes everything I previously
I
said.
apologize.
Nope, that's fine.
Getting that.
So the structure that is fixed up right now, 101, is like it was. It's still inside, is exactly laid out as it was when I bought it. I had no issues with anything until I went to get a permit for the electric for 111 Maple Avenue. I called the township has been very nice to me, honestly. They gave me an electrician's name and I called him and he put the new meter box in and everything. And that's when I started having issues. But until that time, which was, when did they, would have been 8/26/24 was when, I got the permit. I even paid a $95 fee for a meter on 8/26.
When you say you got the permit, you got an electrical permit.
The electrician got electrical, and it's inspected. There's a sticker on it. I took a picture of it if anybody wants to see it.
Does the town issue an electrical permit?
You gotta have any permit from the,
Right.
The electrician, I don't know where he got the permit, but Atlantic Electric got the permit
But it was not
from Westchester County.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
okay.
here are electric
Okay.
plumbing issues, he comes from the
Okay.
county, and then the township goes.
And then the town of Berlin, I paid for an invoice for a meter head, and from that point, that's when everything started to have issues.
Well,
I'm not asking for anything, any changes to the property, anything. I'm just asking to be allowed to do what I was originally told I was allowed to do. And that was to use the three houses as
well,
structures.
I understand that, but tell the board, if you will, how many permits do you have from the town of Berlin
The only,
related to the properties at Link Lane?
I have none, sir. The only one I ever applied for was a fence permit.
Can you advise this board? Well, I know you're a resident of Pennsylvania.
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Do you live in a township in Pennsylvania?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do they require permits?
If you change anything in the structure of a home, yes. But to do siding,
You're saying that you are not required to have an occupancy permit or a zoning permit to occupy property in your township in Pennsylvania? You can just go in and get in a residence and do whatever you want without a permit?
I'm not quite understanding, but if my house was for sale in Pennsylvania and I sold it to Mr. Stower, and he bought it,
Right.
he would not need a permit.
He
to
would
move.
if the house was vacant, would he not?
No, sir, he would not.
He would not.
No, sir.
Well, did you look at the town code of Berlin?
That's why I had the gentleman.
Excuse me, let me finish.
Sorry, sir.
To determine what, if any, permits you needed here.
No, sir, I did not
Yeah.
discuss that with the gentleman that I met with at the time. No, sir. No,
Well,
no.
but do you know who he was?
No, that is completely 100% my.
Other than that, have you ever requested the town of Berlin to send anyone to inspect the property or to determine whether or not you are compliant with the town code?
No, sir. He told me if I didn't change the structure, he said if I changed the structure, I had to get a sprinkler system, but if I didn't change anything, I didn't have to get a sprinkler system in there.
Okay.
That's
Well-
all he told me.
For disclosure, I'm an attorney,
Yeah.
and you are entitled to present hearsay testimony
I
to the
understand.
board. but I will tell you, the board takes hearsay testimony for what it's worth. And you can't identify the person.
I could ask Mrs. Steens if she remembers, because she's the one that set it up. I did not make that phone call, and I do not have his name.
Okay. When I look at the staff report, the second page of the staff report, and I counted them, but I didn't list the numbers of contacts that you have had from the town. And I'm looking at the paragraph that starts with findings. And it appears, well, let me ask you this, because I want to make sure I understand. At no time have you requested a permit from the town for anything that you have done on the property. The only permit that you have requested is an electrical hookup permit for 111 Maple Avenue.
And a fence permit.
Correct.
Outside of that, nothing, sir.
Okay. And you have replaced the roof on 111 Maple Avenue, is it?
111 Maple Avenue has got a new roof, and 101 Lake Lane also has a new roof.
Has a roof.
Yes,
Okay. All right.
Shingles, yes.
Well, did you have anything else you wanted to bring to the board's attention?
No, sir. Not at this point.
Do you have any rental licenses on any of these?
I don't rent them out, sir. I have 6 kids, and the only people that use it is my family, and I have one friend using it in 2 weeks, John Louver, but nobody has rented it outside. I haven't rented it them at all.
You were cited for having short-term rentals. You
Yeah, and I had to write a
rent the
letter.
property, but you can't rent it as short-term rentals.
I had to write a letter to the township saying I wasn't using it as a short-term rental, and then I guess they let it go. I'm not sure. I never heard anything. They said if I sent them a letter.
Yeah, it's in our packet, and for the record, your response to the allegation of short-term rentals, you had notarized by Notary Public in Pennsylvania. So I presume that you did that to indicate that what you were saying was under oath, as they say,
Yes,
and was the truth. Is that correct?
That is correct. I see it here. That was last year in October. I had received a letter previous, and then I had to give a response to that, and that was my response there.
Right. And Mr. Hirsch, let me say to you that when I review the back and forth between you and the planning staff and even the executive director of town administrator, you have made assertions that you would do things in response to those matters. You deny a lot of what is there, but you have also said that you will respond by either getting a permit or taking a response. But as I get it, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you have done none of that.
I've done no more work to the property since.
No.
the roof
But
on it.
when you respond and say that you will follow up, you have not done anything because you say you haven't done any work. Is that your response?
I guess no. I wasn't aware that I needed a permit to do what I've done so far.
Well, be careful, please, because are you saying that with all of these controversies in the town, that you had no knowledge that you needed to do anything to rectify the circumstances that the town has said you are violating? Is that your testimony?
No, I'm not saying that, sir. I was saying I was unaware that I needed a permit to do the exterior changes that I've made, siding, roofing, etc.
We're here to determine whether or not there's a non-conforming use that can be utilized
Yes, sir.
at Link
Yes.
Lane. You have what appears to be one property, 101 Link Lane,
Yes, sir.
that is fit to be occupied.
Mhm.
And the evidence is clear because I've got a copy of your deed that you bought the property in 2022.
Yes, sir. That's
And that is a change of ownership, which you have been notified terminates the nonconformity of the property, together with the fact that it seems patently evident that only one of the homes, buildings, on your property at Link Lane is occupied. So why are you alleging that the nonconformity has not ceased?
we.
Well, I guess that's what you're saying because you want us to continue the non.
I still, when I bought the property, 101 was not in use. 103 was.
I understand.
So I couldn't work on 103. Otherwise, I would have done 103 first because that was, bigger.
I don't understand why you couldn't work on 103.
Because it was occupied with Brandon, and
Oh, okay.
so
But how long has it been since it's been occupied?
it's since someone has lived there full time, probably 2 years.
Literally since it's been occupied for any. Let me.
We still use
I
it.
don't mean to sound like a lawyer, but the casual or intermittent use of a property does not establish a non-conforming use. It has to be a use that is actively in possession. And I don't see that you've presented anything to us except perhaps, and we're not talking about 101 Link Lane is not our issue. 103 Link Lane and 101 Maple Avenue are our issue. We're not telling you that you can't occupy your property in the manner that is allowed in an R2 zone. But what we are trying to determine is whether there is any evidence whatsoever that would indicate that this property should enjoy a non-conforming use. That's the only thing we're here for, and that's what you have said. You want the reissuance of a non-conforming use on 103.
I would like that because I would like the opportunity to fix them up the way they should be, and then to use them the way they should be used.
Respectfully, Mr. Hurd, if you had bought the property 6 months ago, that request may resonate. You bought it 4 years
I
ago.
understand, sir.
So you've owned 103 Link Lane for 4 years. You're asking us to allow you to fix up 103 Link Lane.
I've been fixing them up as I had.
In 2026.
I'm sorry. I've been trying to fix them up as I had the finances available to do so. If I was given a time frame and I had to have them done, then I would try to get a second mortgage or something on my house. If you said, hey, you got to have these done in X amount of time and have them inspected, then
Have you made any contact whatsoever with the town of Berlin to ask them, would they give you consideration for a time frame to get a financing so that you could fix up 103?
No, that's why when I was at this meeting today, I was wanting to know what my options were going to be to move forward here. If I was going to be allowed to be given that time frame, or if not, if we had to go down another, if I have to do it. I'm just here to see what I'm allowed to do and where we can go from here. I wasn't trying to build anything or take anybody for granted, or I apologize if I've made anybody feel that way, but I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to make a place for my family to enjoy.
Well, I won't comment on that. Are there any of the board members that have any questions?
So just with the repeated conversations with the town and them, following up with the permit requests, it's tough on our end when you didn't pull any permits even after the fact. It doesn't show a great desire to work with the town on the project. It's tough to see because it's really, when I'm looking and reading this and listening, it's kind of like they're asking for stuff and then the issue just stops.
Okay.
And asking for a conforming use is a request. And the way I'm looking at it is you haven't been friendly to the town. So it's tough to give you something when you really haven't given it back. And I understand now that you would do it because you're up against it, you know, and it's tough.
I understand. But if I was given a period of time to fix them up,
But
what I'm just curious, what permits would what permits would I be required to get for those two properties? And am I allowed to do it as a homeowner, or do I have to? Because in Pennsylvania I can do that, and I would, like in Pennsylvania I don't need a permit, and I know it's Maryland. From what I understood, I didn't need a permit to do siding or roofing, or that at the house. If I put siding on the houses and put a roof on the houses and made them presentable, do I need a permit to do that? And would I be allowed to have a time frame to do that?
So permits in Berlin, they could explain better. It's tough. Every municipality is different.
Okay.
Like I'm typically, when I'm doing projects, I'm calling municipalities because I know Bethany Beach in Delaware wants a permit if you're installing baseboard, which sounds crazy. I know you're in construction.
Yeah.
But they will shut the job down.
Understand.
So it is really like that is on how I view it because I'm in it.
Understand.
It's on the impotence of the installer, the homeowner to take care
I
of it.
understand it's my responsibility.
So Berlin could answer better.
Would you be able to answer that question? Do I need a permit to put roof or siding on?
Siding, roof, doors, and windows need a permit. Any interior repairs, we need a permit if you're doing any type of structural changes like framing up a wall, taking down a wall, things of that
I
nature.
understand.
Electrical work that you add to the property, we need a load letter from an electrical a licensed electrician. That's
I understand.
any plumbing work, I'm saying it.
Yeah.
Again, we don't do the electrical and plumbing permit. They go through the county, but the county does have a system where they reflect back on us and say, hey,
I understand.
do you have it? And if we don't have it, you won't have it. From the
I understand.
and that's where like a lot of things were getting, I guess, balls were dropping because there was not a great deal of communication. What I could see from my file, because I started May of 25, and I think you had just put the roof on.
Probably on the front one.
On the front, yeah. And Miss Carolyn had gave you a stop work order the previous year. You took it down, which is $1,000 citation. I put a new one up and you took it down. I should have gave you the citation then, but I did not.
I've never taken one off the front. They stick them on the front screen door in there with blue tape in there. Now there's a couple of them he sticks in the shed. I have a stack of them sitting in the
And
shed.
the shed is unpermitted as well. So the shed and the fence is unpermitted. We don't have any permits for you at all.
I had filed one for a
have any.
fence.
Again, we don't have you utilizing the house without any type of structural engineer report or middle department inspection. It puts a liability on the town because someone said, I rented this from him or I stayed there and this happened. How could the town let this happen? And all I'm trying to do is protect the town.
I understand. I wasn't asking to rent them out. I wasn't asking to rent them out.
But even occupying it, even if you're occupying it and something happens, someone, even if it's your guest with you, they could get upset, hurt, or what have you inside there and some type of incident happens and they say, well, you know what? I know he didn't go through the town. Let me sue everybody.
Understand.
It's just it's more of safety than anything. And I even recommend to the board that if they do allow you to have it, that you get structural engineer reports done on all of the properties so an engineer can tell you what needs to be done. Because the town had middle department inspection agency tell you, and it wasn't.
understand. No, it's fine. I understand.
Any other questions? I'm presuming under the open meeting law, we're required to deliberate in public, so I'm fine with doing that. We got nothing to hide, but the issue is the request before the board is from Mr. Hurd, and it is request for issuance of non-conforming residential use at 103 Link Lane. I think the evidence before the board is clear that 103 Link Lane, as well as one of the other houses, which we'll presume is 101 Maple Avenue. I'm sorry.
111 Maple.
I keep doing that. I'm sorry. 111 Maple Avenue are non-conforming buildings, and the property owned by Mr. Hirsch is non-conforming for two reasons. Number one, that two of the buildings have presumably, according to the evidence, ceased occupancy for more than 1 year, and that it has changed hands, of course, which is again another determination of the loss of nonconformity as he bought it in 2022. So I think the issue is clear based on the evidence presented to the board that the property is non-conforming. I, for one, do not believe that there's any reason to reissue a non-conformity on the property. The evidence is clear, it seems to me, that Mr. Hirsch, and I'm not saying knowledgeably or not, but that's not the town's problem. That's your problem, whether you were lack of knowledge. Has no permits, has been notified repeatedly by the town of problems, and has responded thereto in some instances where he has said that he will do responsive action, and he has taken no action. And I refer particularly to the October 2024 letter where he lists what he will do in taking action, and we are now a year and a half later and no action's been taken. So I would find that I would recommend that we do not reissue the non-conforming residence at 103 Link Lane, and that the non-conforming building at 111 Maple Avenue also be removed. 111 Link Lane appears to be an occupiable building, but there needs to be a permit for that, as I understand staff's testimony, because nobody has inspected anything inside. We don't know whether it's livable or not. And the recommendation is that a structural engineer, certified structural engineer, certified to that. My question to staff is, what is then done? Does the structural engineer also certify that the property is livable, having inspected inside, or does there need to be another inspection?
There would have to be another inspection. The middle department inspector would have to conduct livability inspection.
Okay. And is that done at the request of the town, or is that done at the request, or is that done at the determination of this board?
It will be determined. We can determine it in our office if whatever you did,
right?
Whatever your rebuttal is or your response is, we will go from there. And
okay.
If you say yes, do this, then we'll say also you don't need to get scheduled an inspection with our inspector.
All right, and Mr. Hirsch, in fairness to you, I'm going to ask another question, but I want you to listen to it very carefully. Okay? Does this board have the authority to recommend that issuance of municipal infractions take place? I believe that we do. A municipal infraction, of course, is a citation.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. A municipal infraction, and you had one because on the allegation of short-term rentals. A municipal infraction is issued by a citation from the town, and the rights you have under that are set forth on the municipal infraction form, the citation. I believe, based on the fact that Mr. Hirsch has responded to nothing from the town, that we recommend that municipal infraction citations be issued, but I don't mean immediately. I mean at a time that is within the board's judgment, but that they start issuing in a reasonable time. And I will state to you that under the law of Maryland, a municipal infraction is each new violation occurs of each day that the municipal infraction allegation is not complied with.
Yeah.
And it can be anywhere up to $1,000 a day.
Yes.
Now, who makes that determination? Staff, do we know as to the recommendation of each day, or is it $1,000?
It's usually staff determination.
Okay.
It can vary.
Fair enough. So all we do as the board, as I understand it, would be to say that we authorize the issuance of municipal infraction after a period of time or tomorrow as the board determines it. And then you all would determine the nature of the fine, so to speak. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, I believe, and I'm not the chairman, I'm just the guy running my mouth, so I guess I can make a motion, or if one of you want to, with regard
Can I have
to
a couple
the
of comments real quick?
evaluation.
I have a couple more comments.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Hurd, one, I think whoever your realtor was gave you bad advice. And I think that's what started this chain of events, because the purchase of the property, the three structures on it, the second it changed hands, you lost the non-conformities. Not that, here or there, but I think you got dealt a raw deal there, because that wasn't looked into by whoever was advising you on that property. When we look at these potential fines, I think it is only fair for you if during this time we come up with not necessarily each individual, but when we look at municipal fines, are we saying that the non-conforming structures have to be removed within X amount of time? And permits?
You need a demolition permit to do that.
Yes, you
I
can.
would say the issuance of the demolition permit. And after a demolition permit is requested and issued, is there a time frame when the property has to be demolished?
Yes.
Okay. So the issuance of the
I want to get this on the table so you have a clear understanding
Sure.
and a checklist. So, and it depends on where all the voting goes, but if it goes towards not reissuing the non-conformance, you would have the two properties, you would have the fence permit, you would have whatever is needed for the livable property, and then the shed.
Okay.
There might be more, but those are the ones that come off the top of my head. As they've been saying, Berlin does your building permits, but your plumbing, electrical, HVAC is going to come from Worcester County.
Mhm.
But whoever you hire, the master of trades is going to do it. And I'm from Pennsylvania originally. I know it's not that way up there. It was a shell shock when I came down here.
Okay.
But I want to give you a fair chance, I don't want to see the infractions. And I think if we don't give you a fair list, within 20 days, 15 days, whatever the staff can do, I would like to put a timetable on Berlin to give that to you. And then we can determine a time period.
Unless, if she says you need these 5 permits, if I get those 5 permits and then she inspects it, is that what you're
I'm trying to find a way not to have fractions.
I would love that.
I'm not a fan.
I'm completely in favor. I'm just saying if she says, Jim, you need the roofing permit, you need a siding permit, I need to walk through your house, which if you all want to go over and look at 101 right now, you can go walk through. I have pictures if you want to see it. I don't care.
Yeah.
And the house is just like it was, 2 little teeny tiny bedrooms, a little teeny tiny bathroom and a kitchen and that's it.
Is 15 days enough time for you guys to put together a list for Mr. Hirsch?
Yeah. Somebody on the list of what- Sure.
And then
And then
do I need to do those in person? So if you say these are the 6, 5, 7, 10 permits I need, do I need to come down and fill those out in person, or is that something I can do online?
Well,
That's going to be up to you.
the only thing that we haven't made a motion yet, but the only thing that needs a permit is what? If we vote that it is a non-conforming use, then the only thing that needs a permit is 101 Link Lane, because the other 2 buildings are going to have to be removed. I don't have heartburn about the shed, but the 2 buildings need to be removed to get it into conformity. And that the determination of the board would be, presumably, if everybody, or if a majority agrees that the nonconformity has ceased, is to have him be required to get a demolition permit within a period of time. And then, if you want to go farther with regard to 101 Link Lane, it would be that he would have a structural engineer notify the town within a period of time that he is going to make a prompt inspection of that to determine whether 101 Link Lane can get a zoning permit under the code. So our time frame, it seems to me, is the time within which he must do those 2 things if we vote that it is a non-conforming use that has to be terminated. Okay.
I just don't know if when I'm going to call it the interior building permit. I don't know exactly what Berlin calls it. I don't know what they're going to require. They may require a after the fact plumbing inspection or permit. They may require an after the fact electrical permit. Like I just don't know what they're going to require.
Right.
Yeah, and by code, those do have due dates on them. So we can't determine that until we know, like you said, what's wrong, until the inspection's done.
Yeah.
So right now, we just need to make sure he is getting the stamped engineer report, and then he has the livability inspection.
Okay.
The building inspector.
I understand the non-conforming use, and that's something I'd like to discuss a little bit, but I'm not understanding why, and I don't care about getting inspected. I'm not scared. I'm just wondering why I need that and why I need that for 101. I'm just asking.
It would be basically I understand I don't live there full time, but there are probably tens of thousands of people who have beach houses that don't live there.
Let me try and explain.
Sure.
101 is occupied, and it's in the town of Berlin. It is occupied without a permit because there has been no inspection. I can presume that if you have a guest there who gets injured in or on that premises, they're going to hire an attorney. And the first thing the attorney is going to do is try and determine whether anybody other than you are liable for that activity. And the lawyer is going to say, well, the town is allowing a living space to be occupied by people, and it doesn't even inspect it. It doesn't know whether this is dangerous or not. So the town of Berlin will likely be a defendant to that allegation.
So is that like a normal?
That's why you need to get.
So that's a normal thing. And if you sell your house in Maryland, you have to get an occupancy permit for the next
No,
buyer?
it wouldn't be that. It would
No.
be doing permitted work requiring a permit without a permit.
Okay.
And
I
that
understand.
would be,
Okay.
you know, and a lot of the inspectors will come in after the fact. They're not happy about it.
Sure.
They might make you cut some holes in the ceiling so they can see the new wiring. Normally they try not to be overly hard, but it would be that would be the main reason.
Sure. That's fine. I was just curious
I understand.
when you said you had some other things, or you?
No, that was it.
And you said you wanted to talk about the nonconformity again?
Is there, like, to me, and I'm not being mean, the property's useless without the homes on it. Like, I'm not being dumb, and you don't even care. I don't want it. I'm probably, if I got to tear it down, I'm gonna sell the dumb thing. It makes no use to me. It's worthless. But is there any way I would be allowed to keep like the back one and demo the front one? I mean, the back one when I bought it was physically lived in. 103, the Angel and Brandon lived in there. I know you didn't work there, but there was somebody physically in that house when I bought it.
But Mr.
And Mrs. Link is the one who passed away. From what I understand, she lived in the rear one. Brandon, when they died, they flip-flopped, but that could be.
But
That's what the police told me anyway.
Mr. Hirsch, let me try and answer that. If we were not talking about a time that is 4 years after that was in existence, then maybe the board or someone would give you some consideration. But this has been going on for 4 years, and we have these documents showing as far back as 2022, the town was trying to get you to.
I tried to fix them up as fast as I could.
Yeah, but I mean, I
But they wouldn't consider giving me a time frame to get the back one done. Like, hey, if you pull the permits for the siding, the windows, and the roof on 103, you have 6 months to have it done and inspected.
Mr. Hirsch, that maintains a nonconformity.
I know. I'm asking, could they consider?
If we allow 2 buildings on there, it maintains a nonconformity, which I think I'm correct in saying overwhelmingly the evidence shows that the nonconforming use has ceased. All we would have to do is consider your deed in 2022, but that's, we're talking about 2026. I, for one, don't believe that is a consideration to allow a continuation of a nonconformity with the evidence that's presented to this board.
Okay.
So,
I apologize. I am wrong for not getting the permits, but I was not told that I couldn't keep them,
But nor did you ask, Mr. Hirsch, nor did you inquire, nor did you ever meet with staff, nor did you do anything that would indicate that you were responding to anything the town was asking you to do.
Okay.
And I say that I don't say that derogatorily, I just say it as a fact that it appears to me that you have done nothing to rectify the concerns of the town of Berlin with regard to your property. Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
So I don't want to keep going on. I sound like I'm quarreling with you, and I'm not, but I'm trying to make a record as to why the board may do what the board may do. So, Mr. Bunning, any comment? There, anybody want to make a motion, or do you want me to do it, or how do we want to do it? Go ahead. All right, it's my motion that the board deny Mr. Hirsch's request to reestablish a nonconformity at 111 Maple, is it Maple Street or Maple Avenue? Maple Avenue, yeah. And 103 Link Lane because they are non-conforming structures which have ceased under the Code of Berlin. That with regard to 101 Link Lane, that Mr. Hurst, within 15 days, make first of all, that within 15 days, Mr. Hurst make a request for a demolition permit for 111 Maple Avenue and 103 Link Lane. And that within, I'll say 20 days, 20 business days, let's put it that way, that Mr. Hirsch or a structural engineer provide to the town a request for inspection to, is that necessary, or notify you that an inspection from a structural engineer is going to occur, or does he get a permit to do that?
The structural engineer would submit a report.
Okay.
So we would want.
He would report. Okay. That within 20 days, Mr. Hirsch notified the town of the name of a structural engineer who will be filing a report, and that he advised the structural engineer to notify the town that he has been required to do so and has been hired, and will give you a time frame to do so with regard to 101 Link Lane. Have I forgotten anything? If I have, then I'll certainly accept an amendment to my motion, but that's my motion. And you guys okay with it?
Yep.
Staff, have I forgotten? Yeah.
Okay. And then after, so just one other thing. So the stamp engineer report, and then he would have to, after we receive that report, he would have to schedule an livability inspection with
Yeah.
MDI with us.
Yeah.
And what is the time frame for him to turn these in? I think I want to continue to be fair here and have actionable goals.
Okay.
Is it 6 months from today to have all of those reports and livable study in your hands? Is it 3 months? What?
Well, I thought Joe was saying, 20 days from today, he needs to provide us the name of the person that he has obtained for the report.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that the structural engineer give you a time frame when he will be able to give you that report, his report. I don't want him to say I'm maybe hired and all that.
Don't leave it open-ended. We need a definite
Yes,
date that they will start the,
yes.
inspection.
And my motion, if we got all the requirements that we need, my motion be that if either of those issues do not occur, respectfully to Matt, that municipal infraction citations be issued. And that's my motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. So, and Mr. Hurst, this hadn't been any fun, but really, the town really doesn't need action.
Am I allowed to legally appeal this decision?
I beg your pardon?
Am I allowed to legally appeal the decision?
You can seek advice on what your rights are now.
Okay. All right. I appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you.
Do we need to nominate you as a chairman?
Oh,
Before we do that as an agenda item.
okay. All right.
We can do that real quick, can we? I nominate Joe as the chairman.
Second.
Objection. And I'll do it for a while then. Is there anything, let me think, any comments from staff? Any comments from staff?
Only vice chair. I don't think we discussed that tonight. We need a chair and vice chair.
Chair, vice chair. You wanna do it, go ahead. All right.
We gotta adjourn.
Jill,
Okay.
I
All right.
nominate Lori Bunning as.
All right, I do too, and I wanna do the citizenship.
Do tell them to get out.
I'm sorry.
Very good.
Adjourn.